It's 1:46 a.m. You're alone, phone in hand, thumb hovering over the same old shortcut your brain knows by muscle memory. And then, you don't click it. Not because you're terrified of sex, not because you're pure, not even because you have superhuman discipline. Sometimes it's way weirder than that. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some people genuinely don't watch porn, what that choice usually says about their reward system and relationships, and why the most obvious explanation is often the wrong one. And I'm not guessing here. We're going to lean on actual research, including a large meta-analysis on porn use and satisfaction, and a brain imaging study that looked at how higher porn consumption relates to reward circuit measures. Now let me say the quiet part out loud. The myth is that porn is like gravity. Everyone watches it. It's harmless. If you don't, you're either lying or repressed. And the opposite myth is equally loud. If you do watch it, you're cooked forever. Both myths are lazy. Human brains don't work like that. Human brains work like glitchy 90s computers. You know those old PCs where you'd install one random program and suddenly your whole system is acting haunted? Your desktop wallpaper changes. Pop-ups spawn like bacteria. Your mouse starts lagging. Not because the computer is evil, because the settings got nudged, the cache got stuffed, and now everything is optimized for the wrong thing. That's the real conversation here. Settings. Porn, especially the endless, novelty-on-demand version, can become a settings issue for some people. Not everyone, but some. Here's one of the most counterintuitive truths. A lot of people who don't watch porn aren't stronger. They're just more sensitive to how their brain gets trained. They noticed a pattern early. They noticed that their attention got sticky. Their expectations got specific. Their motivation got weirdly flat after. Or their real-life attraction started feeling like it was running on dial-up while their screen was running on full-speed broadband. And before you roll your eyes, there's research that at least points in this direction. A 2017 meta-analysis, 50 studies, 50,000 plus participants, found porn consumption wasn't really linked to intrapersonal satisfaction outcomes they measured, but it was associated with lower interpersonal satisfaction outcomes, things like sexual/relationship satisfaction, with some results differing by sex across analyses. That doesn't prove porn ruins love. It does tell you this topic has real psychological weight in relationships, not just internet shouting. Then there's the brain angle. Kuhn and Galanot's 2014 study looked at healthy adult men and found higher self-reported porn hours per week were associated with differences in parts of the striatum, reward circuitry, and connectivity patterns, with the authors explicitly saying it could reflect plasticity from intense reward stimulation, or a precondition that makes porn more rewarding in the first place. Translation in normal human language. We don't fully know which direction the arrow points, but we do know the reward system is in the room. So why do some people opt out? Let's stay in the glitchy computer metaphor. Some people don't watch porn because they've had the experience of too many tabs open. Their brain already runs hot. Anxiety, overthinking, a DHD-ish restlessness, a life that feels like 37 browser tabs, 2 of them playing music, and you can't find which one. Porn for them isn't fun. It's another tab that hijacks RAM, another thing their brain starts craving when it's stressed, another loop. So they quit the same way you uninstall a program that keeps crashing your PC, not because you're moral, because you're tired of the lag. And sometimes the lag isn't even sexual, it's emotional. Because here's another truth people hate. Sometimes porn is being used as emotional anesthesia. Not always, but often enough that it's worth saying. Bored, lonely, rejected, stressed, feeling small? You can either sit in that feeling, or press the instant intensity button and time travel 20 minutes into the future where you feel temporarily quiet. If that's you, quitting porn isn't really about sex. It's about finally letting your brain feel the feelings it was skipping. And this is where people get mad because they want a simple villain. They want porn bad or porn fine. But the psychology is more like, what job is porn doing in your life? Now, another group of non-watchers is basically the opposite. They're not avoiding anything. They're just wired for direct engagement, not spectator reward. Think of it like this. Some brains love watching a simulated race on a screen. Other brains need their hands on the keyboard. They need control. They need feedback. They need real stakes. Those people often describe porn as weirdly passive, like watching someone else's life, like borrowing a mood. And once they notice that, they can't unnotice it. It's similar to why some people don't obsess over sports. The brain just doesn't get that vicarious dopamine payoff the same way, so they redirect. They prefer desire that's connected to real life, real reciprocity, real risk, real intimacy, not a perfect highlight reel that your brain can binge like a corrupted screensaver. And then there's the group nobody wants to talk about because it's not edgy, it's just painfully normal. Some people don't watch porn because it messes with their relationship, not in a dramatic cheating way for everyone, but in a subtle, I feel less present way, less motivated to pursue, less satisfied, more comparison, more secrecy, more awkwardness. There's also dyadic research looking at porn use in couples and how the association with relationship satisfaction can vary depending on context and moderators, which again is a fancy way of saying what matters is not just the behavior, but the relational ecosystem around it. And if you want one more data point, a separate meta-analysis, 41 studies, 70,000 plus participants, reported a small negative overall correlation between pornography use and sexual satisfaction, with nuances by gender and study design. Small correlation doesn't mean doom, but it does mean it's not crazy when people say, yeah, this affected me. Now, I need to make a careful distinction because the internet refuses to. Not watching porn is not automatically healthy. Sometimes it's avoidance. Sometimes it's fear of intimacy. Sometimes it's shame. Sometimes it's religious scrupulosity where you're not even choosing. You're just terrified. And on the flip side, watching porn is not automatically a disorder. The World Health Organization includes compulsive sexual behavior disorder in ICD-11, but the guidelines explicitly warn against diagnosing people just because they have high sexual interest or because they feel moral guilt. The issue is impaired control plus real distress/impairment, not, I did a thing and feel bad because my culture told me to. So when you meet someone who doesn't watch porn, the interesting question isn't, are they better? It's, what's their relationship to desire? Because desire is basically your brain's operating system for motivation. It spills into everything. Focus, confidence, how you pursue goals, how you handle discomfort, how you connect. Porn is powerful partly because it's a supernormal stimulus, an ultra-concentrated, always available reward. And supernormal rewards are like installing a program that changes your default settings, not in a moral way, in a conditioning way. So some people opt out because they want their default settings to be real life again. They want attraction that builds slowly. They want intimacy that feels like a conversation, not a download. They want their brain to stop demanding 4K novelty when real connection is naturally imperfect, human, sometimes awkward, sometimes quiet. And honestly, I suspect that's why this topic triggers people so much, because it's not really about porn, it's about control. Who's driving your attention? You, or whatever learned how to hijack you? That's the philosophical core. Your mind is trainable, and whatever you repeatedly feed it, it starts to treat as normal. The scary part is you don't notice the training while it's happening. You only notice later when normal life feels slightly dimmer, like an old monitor that's lost brightness. So if you're someone who doesn't watch porn, maybe you're not prudish. Maybe you're just protective of your operating system. And if you do watch it, the question isn't, should I hate myself? The question is simpler and way more useful. Is it helping your life or quietly replacing parts of it? All right, one-word answer in the comments. Reset or fine? As in, do you feel like porn was a reset you needed or something that's basically fine for you? And whichever one you type, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you understand yourself. Your mind is a tool, not a trap.